In this video, I'm going to give you a behind-the-scenes look on what it was like to run my e-commerce business in my first year and how neurotic of a mess I was. Now, one of the reasons I love documenting my online business ventures is that I have the ability to go back in time and relive some of my experiences running my business. And this came in handy the other day when a reader asked me the following question. Steve, it seems like you always know what you're doing. Do you ever get impatient with the progress of your business? And do you ever compare yourself to other entrepreneurs and get frustrated with yourself? Now, my first reaction was to respond with something along the lines of, don't give up. It's completely normal to feel this way. Don't compare yourself to others, blah, 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 blah. But instead, I dug deep into the archives of my blog to find this gem for you. Now, here's the thing. Whenever you read about an entrepreneur who has made a large sum of money in a short period of time, there's always a misconception that their path to success was quick and smooth. Now, take my Stanford tree-living buddy Pat Flynn, for example. If you read his blog and his tips, it seems as though he can make tens of thousands of dollars per day by barely lifting a finger. Now, what you don't hear about enough is the pain and the hardship he went through to get to this point. Now, the fact is that once your online business is up and running, life does get easier, and we tend to forget about the early stage pain. Now, looking back at our online wedding linens business, there were several times when I was a neurotic mess and I did a lot of stupid things. Now, notice the use of the word I here. My wife was usually more level-headed and patient. Now, some of the most commonly asked questions I get asked are, was business slow early on? Was there any point in which you didn't think things would work? And was there any point that you got frustrated and just wanted to quit? Now, if you were planning on asking me any of these questions, I'll just save you the time right now and just say yes, as loudly as I can type. Now, in fact, there are many stupid things that I did early on, which I will share with you below. So number one, my mood was dictated by sales. Now, after the many weekends and late nights spent launching our business, I wanted to see results right away. And in fact, I wanted sales so badly that I became obsessed with every single customer that visited our site. Now, one of the coolest and biggest time-sucking features of our online store is that you can follow a customer as they browse through your shop. What product are they looking at? Are they in checkout? What do they have in their shopping cart? You have all this information at the click of your finger. Now, here's just a note. Today, you can actually watch full-length videos of your customers and track their mouse movements, which brings stalking to a whole different level. Now, early on when things were slow, I used to stalk our customers and my mood would be dictated by their actions. Come on, baby, that's right, put something in your shopping cart. You want those linen napkins, I know you do, because they'll look great on your dining room table. Meanwhile, my wife would always look at me and say, hey Steve, will you stop stalking our customers already? It's just gonna get you all worked up. Nonsense, dear. Oh, they put something in their cart. I think they might buy something. Come on, baby, buy it, buy it, buy it. Sweet, they're entering their information just a little further. Come on, baby, come on, baby. Click on submit, you can do it. It's the big pink button in the lower right. Wait, what's going on? They've been stuck on the payment page now for over 5 minutes. What's wrong? Oh my God, why would they leave without paying for their merchandise? Crap, is this something we did? Is there something wrong with our store? It's game over, man, game over. And I would go on like this for several minutes. And then my wife would say something like, I think you need to get a life, honey. You are my life, dear, and we just lost another customer. Now, whenever we did successfully sell something, I would be on cloud 9 for the entire day. But when customers abandoned their cart, I'd be left with this empty feeling of despair. Now, this roller coaster of emotions was not healthy for my psyche. Now, it's one thing to passively observe the behavior of your customers online, but I desperately wanted and needed feedback in order to improve our store. Why did customers not complete checkout? Why did customers leave the store so quickly? I wanted to know. Unfortunately, when you just launch your business and people aren't buying, feedback can be hard to obtain. Which brings me to neurotic action number 2. Sometimes, after a customer had abandoned their cart, I would call them directly and just ask them why. And as you can imagine, some customers were shocked by the call, and some of these conversations were downright uncomfortable. Our records indicate that you attempted checkout and your order didn't go through properly. Do you require any assistance to complete your order? And this usually would take customers completely by surprise, and they'd be like, huh? Who is this? I'm sorry, you were trying to purchase some wedding handkerchiefs from our online store about 15 minutes ago. That's strange. I don't remember buying anything. I was just looking around. How did you get my number? Well, you entered it when you left your unpurchased items littered all over our online store. Now, this is what I wanted to say. Okay, was there a particular reason that you did not complete your purchase? No reason, I was just looking around. What is it that you want again? Please don't call me again. Now, in my defense, even though I drove away some customers early on, I actually did get some quality feedback. So for example, one time a customer told me that there was a bug with our credit card processor and his debit card would not work. Another customer I called told me that our pictures were too small to make out the product details, and I also discovered that many customers went through checkout just to find out the shipping costs because it wasn't obvious what the final total was. I was even commended once for good customer service. Now, even still, getting called by a store right after you decide not to buy is not necessarily a wise thing to do. Now, even though my wife still makes fun of me for doing this, I've talked to many entrepreneurs over the years, and calling abandoned cart customers is actually a common practice. In fact, an entrepreneur I just hung out with at Ecommerce Fuel told me that he has a full-on team dedicated towards calling back abandoned cart customers. So take that, wife. Now, looking back, this is one of the best things I ever did for our business early on. And heck, if you were sending a customer an abandoned cart email, you may as well call them too, because the conversion rate is super high. Now, the next thing I did was I changed things up too quickly. Whenever I did receive any sort of feedback, I acted on it fast. And as a result, our online store was in a constant state of flux. I never gave any of my changes any time to digest. Instead, it was like, customer X couldn't find the checkout button very easily. Perhaps I should make it twice the size and move it slightly to the left. Customer Y thought she needed an account to buy something. Perhaps I should re-implement the entire checkout process. And what ended up happening was that I was constantly making tweaks without observing the impact of each change. And it was counterproductive and stressful as well because I worked at such a quick pace that I often made mistakes. Now, probably the most egregious mistake I made was when a syntax error caused a picture to not load properly on one of our checkout pages. Now, customers trying to make a purchase were greeted with a big red X where one of the photos should have been. Now, the next time that you read about someone making it big or making lots of money in a short period of time, realize that they had to work hard to get where they are today. Now, we all have our neurotic moments that we'd rather not share publicly like I just did with you. And don't even get me started on email marketing. There was a time when I had a very small email list and I used to stalk everyone's open and click-through rates. Stella432@gmail.com, why aren't you opening my email? Don't you know that I'm just here to help? Come on, Stella, what's going on, woman? Would you like me to email you again with a different subject line? Stella, stay with me, baby. Stella, stay with me. Now, here's a little secret. We are all not as confident as we appear to be. And the scary thing is that I barely scratched the surface with my own mistakes. Now, the fact is that there aren't any true shortcuts. Things will come along gradually as long as you constantly try to improve. Now, if you find yourself getting impatient with your progress and you want to know how long it should take to be successful with your business, then watch this video next.